I want to say the Yoruba warriors have done noble this time around, because from what I understand, the locals, as we always know, have done it again. Apprehending Fulani kidnappers. This is coming from a Twitter handle that goes by the name of 36 Killion Media. He said, you came all the way from the north to live with our people, understand their language, only to turn your back and start kidnapping them. This is the story of two Fulani henchmen caught in the web of kidnapping in Isheyi. I want to believe that Isheyi is somewhere in Oyo State, but the tweet go further to say that he said, I just hope the police won't later release them, because they always come back for revenge. I will like watch the video shortly, but what I just read is a tweet from a Twitter handle that goes by the name of 36 Killion Media, as you can clearly see on the screen. You watch the video shortly, because from Interrogation, you can clearly see that these Fulani men understand Yoruba very well. Another thing that stands out is that they agree in that interrogation that they are involved in kidnapping. But I think this has laid credence to the position of most of us that the locals have what it takes to deal with this issue of kidnapping or apprehending kidnappers, because it has been proven that all crime is local. But again, these have somehow laid credence to the position of the Director of DSS, who at some point acknowledged the government and the people of Nigeria that the communities should be empowered to be the first line of defense in case of invasion. But let us quickly watch the video so that we can come back to further this conversation.
Kí lorúkọ yín? Umaru Abubakar.
Bello Umaru Usman.
Bello Umaru Usman. Kí ni ẹ̀ ń ṣe níbi tí wọ́n ti rí yín? You want to do what?
Kidnap.
You want to kidnap. Firstly, how old are you? Ọmọ ọdún mélòó ni?
Okay, 25.
25. Wọ́n kọ́?
32.
32. Ó ti tó gbà wo tẹ́ ti ń ṣe nǹkan tó jọ báyìí? Ìgbà wo tẹ́ ti wà lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ yìí?
Wala nísìnyí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ nísìnyí lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ tá a ti fi sí àwa.
Alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ tí tẹ́ kọ́kọ́ ṣe ni? Ó yá. Ìbéèrè tí màá béèrè báyìí ni pé ibo lẹ ń lọ, kí lẹ ṣe tán, àti pé ohun tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ ṣe ṣé ẹ ti rí ṣe àbẹ́ ẹ̀ tí rí ṣe tọ́wọ́ fi bá yín?
Owó tá a ti wà àbí àti rí owó àti gbà ọ́.
Èèlò ni owó tẹ́ gbà?
Àti gbà nǹkan tó ti fún mi mẹ́mí, nǹkan tó ti fún mi 2,400,000.
2,400,000. Fáfà náà táwọn wo ojú fọ́nrán yìí, owó tí wọ́n sọ pé àwọn ti gbà wọn ní o, tó jẹ́ pé ọ̀nà méjì ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ téèyàn gbọ́dọ̀ dákọ̀. Bákan náà nínú ẹ̀ láti rí àwọn ta eléyìí tí wọ́n fi ń ṣe àwọn iṣẹ́ láabi ọ̀hún. Ẹni àfẹ̀sùnkàn ni wọ́n, torí pé gẹ́gẹ́ bí òfin orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà, ẹni tí ilé ẹjọ́ ò bá ti sọ pé báyìí lọ́rọ̀ rẹ̀ rí kò tí ì di ọ̀daràn. Àmọ́ ó ti ní iṣẹ́ tẹ́ lọ ṣe kẹ́yìn tó fi pé ọwọ́ ṣìkú òfin fi bà yín. Kí ni báwo ni mọ̀lẹ́bí yẹn ṣe jẹ́? Ṣé ọmọ kékeré ni, ṣé àgbàlagbà ni, ọkùnrin ni àbóbìnrin, ó sì tọ́ ọmọ ọdún mélòó?
Lágbàlagbà ni.
Àgbàlagbà ó tọ́ ọmọ ọdún mélòó?
Ọmọ ọdún yẹn.
Ọkùnrin ni àbóbìnrin?
Ọkùnrin ni.
Ọkùnrin ni. Ní àdúgbò wo òun ni ẹ ti lọ ṣiṣẹ́ òun níjọba àbílẹ̀ Ìṣẹ́yìn? Àdúgbò wo ni ibo?
Ìmọ̀ àdúgbò yìí náà.
Ó mọ orúkọ àdúgbò. Ọmọ state wo ni ẹ̀yin méjèèjì ti wá?
Èmi láti Yauri ni mo ti wá.
Láti wo?
Yauri.
Yauri. Mo fẹ́ mọ state tó jẹ́ ló fà tí mo ń bèrè. Wọ́n kọ́?
Jeba.
Jeba, Niger State. ní orúkọ ọmọ tí ẹ lọ jí ẹ tẹ́ lọ gbé tí wọ́n fi.
mo àrúkọ ọmọ yìí náà aláàjì ni mo mọ aláàjì yìí náà mo mọ orúkọ ọmọ.
aláàjì yẹn báwo làlájì yẹn ṣe jẹ́ sí.
aláàjì ọ̀tún wọ́n ń pè wọn aláàjì ọ̀tún àrúkọ tí mo mọ ni aláàjì ọ̀tún.
aláàjì ọ̀tún ọ̀tún àbí. báwo wá ní aláàjì yẹn ṣe jẹ́ sí ọmọ tẹ́ fẹ́ lọ gbé.
aláàjì ohun gbọ́ngàn àti gbẹ ọmọ yìí náà ti fún information ọmọ yìí ni ó ti pẹ́ àwa ọmọ aláàjì.
ọmọ aláàjì ló fún yín ní information pé kẹ́ lọ gbé aláàjì.
fún ẹlẹ iṣẹ́ ká gbé aláàjì o ká gbé ọmọ kan pẹ̀lú obìnrin kan nígbà tí a ti gbé òun a ti pàdé aláàjì lójú ọ̀nà a ti gbé òun.
ibi tí ọ̀rọ̀ ń lọ ohun tí àwọn ẹni afẹ̀sùnkàn yìí sọ ni pé ọmọ aláàjì kan ló fún àwọn ní information láti lọ gbé ẹni tí àwọn gbé wọ́n sì ń jẹ́ kó yọ pé nígbà tí àwọn ń bọ̀ àwọn pàdé aláàjì ọ̀hún táwọn sì gbé ibẹ̀ làwọn ti gba owó tí àwọn gbà yìí àti àwọn ohun tí ó jẹ́ ohun ìjà tó jẹ mọ́ ọ̀tá tí wọ́n fi ṣe iṣẹ́ yìí. ẹ máa béèrè pé báwo ló ṣe jẹ́ àwọn àjọ Nigeria Forest Security Service tí wọ́n jẹ́ ti ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ Sẹ́yìn àwọn ni wọ́n ṣe iṣẹ́ yìí pé bí èèyàn bá ṣiṣẹ́ takuntakun ohun tó tọ́ tó sì yẹ òun náà ni pé ká yin irú wọn. láàrin ìṣẹ́jú belenja a máa ṣètàkùrọ̀sọ pẹ̀lú ọ̀kan nínú àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ àjọ NFSC new Nigeria Forest Security Service ẹ máa bá wa ká lọ.
orúkọ mi ni Joseph Adéfàbí.
àwọn àgbàlagbà ní ká lè ṣe mí ohun tó fa sábàbí tá a fẹ́ ṣe fọ́nrán yìí ibi tá a wà yìí báwo ló ṣe jẹ́ kí ni ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ bíbá yìí lónìí mo fẹ́ kẹ́ sọ fún wa ní láàrin ìṣẹ́jú belenja.
ní ọ́fíìsì àwọn forester.
So for what we understand, these are people who came all the way from the north, from Fulani extraction, mix with the people, understand their language, and they are still involved in kidnapping. I know that crime do not know tribe. I know that every tribe have criminal elements in their midst. But I want to say that the rate at which the Fulanis are involved in kidnapping, banditry, terrorism is worrisome currently. A situation that has even made it very difficult for even communities to give out land if the Fulanis want to genuinely come to say, okay, we want to go into ranching. Because what we are saying is, even when it comes to cattle rearing currently, we are saying that no community, no states should be allowing open grazing in this 21st century, because it has been overtaken by events that is already updated. That is why we are saying that states should go ahead to start enacting anti-open grazing laws. And once they do that, let us start seeing security arrangement at the state level in place to enforce such law. I understand that in those states, we have seen a situation where the vigilante in that state have come out to say, if you are occupying in the forest, you're occupying any bush illegally, vacate forthwith. A welcome development indeed. And I want to believe that other states should follow suit. So now let us start dislodging everyone that is occupying the forest, the bushes illegally, so that we can have a way of knowing who is coming in and who is not coming in. As it is, even the allegation of having some foreigners who, of course, will be hibernating in the forest, and it becomes a problem to know who is a Nigerian Fulani and a foreign Fulani. And the issue is, it is even the Fulani themselves that should be able to identify who is a foreign Fulani and who is a Nigerian Fulani. Because in the time of Buhari as the president, when they had an encounter with the president of America, talking about Donald Trump, his first term as the president of the United States of America, Buhari was emphatic. Now, most of the bandits we see in Nigeria, most of the maybe cattle rearers we see in Nigeria who with gun are not Nigerian origin. that most of them are even those who came out from Libya after the fall of Gaddafi. That the only training they had is how to shoot gun. But the question is, even if we have put up borders, I expect the government to step up action in terms of intelligence gathering through technology. Because that's the way to go. Because I listened to the other retired military intelligence officer who made mention of some category of equipment you can use to monitor or gather intelligence, which according to him, during his time in service, he advised the government to acquire, and that they never acquired it. Talking about blame, he called it blame. That can be static if you want, that can be mobile in the world if you want, that can be in the air to gather real-time intelligence. I want to believe that hence we have seen the new service chiefs, that they will do things differently. But as far as I'm concerned, I support every government effort, every government genuine effort to get rid of banditry, to get rid of terrorism, to get rid of every act of criminality in every inch of Nigerian territorial integrity. I support every effort of government to genuinely acquire arms, to smoke them out of their hiding places, send them running and bring them to justice. That is why when I saw the plan of government to acquire about 49 fighter jets, I saw it as a welcome development. When I equally saw Nigerian government through the minister of course, minister of one of the ministers going to Italy to sign some documents for the procurement for about 24 fighter jets, I equally saw it as a welcome development. So the question is, as a country, we must get to the point where we deny these criminals space to operate. We must get to this point where they no longer hold territory. We must get to a point where they no longer share monopoly or coercive power with the government. But I want to say that what makes government ultimate world over is the ability to possess monopoly or coercive power to police every inch of the country's territorial integrity. But what we are currently is a situation where Nigerian government is sharing that monopoly or coercive power with some non-state actors, particularly Fulani militias. And I must say it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable because Nigerians cannot continue in this manner. Because what we currently see is a situation where bandits will come out from their enclaves, from their abodes, fully armed, in what they describe as negotiation with communities. And after the negotiation, they go back to their abodes with the same arm. So you got to show that they are coming from a point of strength. No wonder in the time of Darasi Shako as governor of Taraba State, he was emphatic when he was addressing the military in the course of a plan to disarm maybe citizens in his state, that first of all go and disarm bandits, terrorists in the bushes and the forest. Because if you disarm innocent Nigerians, patriotic Nigerians, at the middle of the night, these people will turn around, come out and start abducting, kidnapping people like chicken. So personally, I'm encouraging all the states that are currently heavily ravaged by this insecurity occasioned by Fulani militias to quickly jump at this opportunity of forest guard initiative of federal government. But I want to believe that in a way have come to give the governors the leeway, the wherewithal to command the security architecture in their respective states. Because that has always been the complaint of the governors, that as governors, that they don't command the security architecture in their respective states. And I share their position because you cannot just go by the name of the governor and the chief security officer of your state where you do not command the commissioner of police in your state, you do not command the director general of GSS, or rather you do not command the director of GSS in your state, you don't command any other security head in your state. I think that is part of the lamentation of the Zamfara State governor at some point, where he made it clear that as a governor, that you are able to acquire some level of technology that enables him to know the movement and location of bandits. At the time, he lamented about his inability to command and control the security architecture into operation to perhaps dislodge them or attack them to bring succor to the people. But the question is, hence the federal government have come up with this issue of forest guard. Why are we not seeing states like Zamfara, Katsina, Benue, Taraba, of course, Kwara, Plateau, jumping at this opportunity. Because that, for me, has come to give them that opportunity. Hence, the government, talking about federal government this time around, have said recruit between 2,000 and 5,000 personnel. And that they will be trained, they will be equipped. And I want to believe that the equipping them means giving them the capacity to combat crimes and criminality in terms of arming them. Well, I think that is the difference between this government and the government of Muhammadu Buhari. I understand that in the time of Muhammadu Buhari, it was like a Herculean task for the state security arrangement to be armed. That formed the basis of which a former governor of Ondo State, Akeredolu, so rest in peace, was always a plug ahead with the then government of Muhammadu Buhari. Because according to him, you cannot allow civilian JTF with the not to be armed and ask Amatekun not to be armed. Of course, we understand that Amatekun is a creation of the Act of State Houses of Assembly in the southwestern part of the country. So the way and the terrorism is metamorphosing, mutating, demands swift action from the government. Because even the other time we saw where the governor of Oyo State will raise alarm that the bandits who have been disturbed in the north already hibernated in the southwestern forest. Of course, the situation that made Amatekun then to, of course, deploy about 2,000 men to comb the southwestern forest. Let's assume Amatekun was not on ground. Who could have done that? So that's why we need more of such security arrangement at the state level, not just having them, but equipping them to be able to do the job. I think that one is very, very necessary. They must be equipped. When you're talking about equipping them, you are talking about capacity. When you're talking about capacity, you are talking about arming them. Because the bandit will see with dangerous weapon, with AK-47, and even weapons beyond that. So the security arrangement at the state level must be adequately equipped. More so, as we have seen a recent development from Borno State, talking about the information that came from the governor of Borno State, Babagada Zulum, who raised a law recently that bandits, or better still called them criminals, terrorists, Boko Haram, who are already using drones to attack the military. A worrisome trend, I must say, that demand quick action from governments. I must say that we need to step up our air defense mechanism. We need to buy more equipment to do that. And we need to strategically partner with our foreign partners who, of course, we know over the years, we have had some foreign partners who have always helped us in intelligence gathering and even in sales of arms and ammunition. And America have been an old ally in that regard. So what I'm saying in essence is Nigerian government should strategically partner with America, not just America, any foreign partner that has the wherewithal to help Nigeria out of this present quagmire. Because I want to say that the issue of insecurity, fighting it, is a concern for everyone. It demands for a concerted effort. Because to have it, even if you say it's no longer happening in your state, as such it does not concern you, I want to say that it's a matter of time. It will go around. That is why everybody must be, all hands must be on deck to ensure that we stamp it out of every inch of Nigerian territorial integrity. But again, the governors must show some level of seriousness that they want to do this job. Because as a governor, it behoves on you to protect lives and properties within your states. Because if you look at Section 40, Section 2B of 1999 Constitution as amended, it's very clear that the welfare of the people and their security shall be the primary purpose of governance. More so as the governors, even the Mr. President, the local government chairman, in their respective capacities, have sworn to an oath to protect lives and properties of Nigerians. This is the most do without excuse, because I want to say that life is sacrosanct. Life is sacrosanct because as human, we don't have what it takes to create life. So anything we can do within the ambits of the law to ensure that we protect the lives and properties of Nigerians as people who have been given that responsibility by the Constitution, they should do it without leaving any stone unturned. Because any person that drops dead as a result of banditry, as humans, we don't have what it takes to bring such a person back to life, except through the mercy of God. And in most cases, it's always in exceptional cases when God wants to prove a point. We understand that God have all the power to do whatever he wishes to do, according to the scripture, that with God nothing shall be impossible. But God does that by his discretion. God does that in exceptional cases when he wants to prove a point. Not that he go about bringing everybody that dropped dead to life. That is why as people, we must do everything humanly possible to protect the lives and properties of Nigeria, particularly those who have been given that responsibility by virtue of their offices, like the governors, the local government chairman, and the president. That's why I'm calling for synergy, symbiotic relationship between the three tiers of government, and even encompassing the locals into it, who of course will know how the intelligence at the grassroots to deal with the issues. Not leaving the traditional rulers out of it, whom we understand, of course, have moral authority over the people. But when it comes to intelligence gathering, intelligence dissemination, it will be easier for the locals to disseminate information to their traditional rulers, who can seamlessly share such information, intelligence, with the security agencies who need them for operation. And they said that when the military base was compromised, that if there was much intelligence, if there were much symbiotic relationship, synergy between the locals and the military, I want to say that the locals could have gotten wind of the intelligence, actually one for that matter, that those people were approaching the military base. So if they may have gotten that and had shared it with the relevant authorities, perhaps the government could have been able to avert it. We can consider the monumental waste of arms and ammunition that occurred during that military attack. And this is weapons, ammunitions that the government used hard-earned money, taxpayers' money, our common patrimony to buy. But let me quickly say that at this point, let us encourage the government to bring everybody on board to synergize to fight this evil and stand them out of every inch of Nigerian territorial integrity. But I must say, very thank you for your time. This is Mr.